development, meeting the needs of all learners. My name is Erica Moody, and I wanted to introduce you to how this website is designed and provide you with an overview of the resources available on this site. I chose this topic of differentiated instruction after I reviewed an article from the Teaching Channel entitled 10 Tips for Meeting the Needs of Diverse Learners. It offered some great tips to improve student success in the classroom. Tips 1 through 2 are about data and information collection. The first tip was to meet as a team to closely read and learn every student's IEP. If you're teaching with a group of people, it's important that all members of that team become familiar with the IEP, including annual goals, suggested modifications, strategies that have been proven in the past, and things like that. The second tip is to make a cheat sheet that shows students' IEPs and ELL classifications and modifications. A sample of this chart might have modifications listed up at the top, such as graphic organizers, seating preferences, word banks, those types of things. And then down on the left-hand side would be the class names and the student names. You can use this chart when you're planning lessons as a quick reference guide for supporting your students. The third tip is to create a one-page spreadsheet of all of the students' reading levels. This will help you to differentiate texts and have comprehension conversations with students about their learning. For tips 4 through 7, they're all about the power of people. Tip 4 is to train paraprofessionals in the classroom to conduct reading conferences with students. During independent reading times, paras can collect and conduct reading conferences, take notes on how students are doing, and maintain a binder to help assess weekly readings. The fifth tip is to share lesson plans with paraprofessionals ahead of time. Keeping everyone apprised of the plans helps them to help others. By providing a copy of a lesson plan, the goals of the lesson are clearly defined and their role is as well. Tip 6 is to split the class into smaller groups. This can be done when co-teaching by using parallel teaching and broken down further if paras are available to also help facilitate those groups. It can be set up as stations, and then the students can travel around the room by groups, this way ensuring that each student gets access to each of the adults in the room. The seventh tip is to give each adult in the room a small group of students that they work with and monitor and support on a regular basis. When each student is given access to an adult, it's easier for that adult to track the progress, the data, to watch for on-task behaviors, record conversations, and pretty much keep track of the kids' progress within the classroom setting. Tips 8, 9, and 10 are all about curriculum and assignments. Tip 8 is to modify assignments and to make them more accessible for every student. So many students at so many levels using modification sheets that were suggested back in Tip 2 are helpful, but using sentence starters, word banks, leveled text, and any type of notes that you can for your ELL and struggling readers are also very helpful. Find resources and tools that can support you in finding texts at varying levels that can make that process a little less overwhelming by using the internet. Tip 9 is to suggest surveying students about what their interests are and using that feedback to guide the curriculum. Some popular topics for an example, 7th grade classes might be social media, video games, YouTube, dating, music, and other things like movies. By using those topics to guide the unit and select the texts, this allows students to anonymously, sorry about that, give feedback every few weeks. You can ask them questions about what they like about class, what could be better, how that learning space is working for them. You can ask them to share their feedback and improve the class and to share anything else that they feel is important in information. And it helps to inform not only the instruction, but the classroom culture as well. Finally, tip 10 is to create songs and chants that go along with the skills and the content that we're learning. It's fun to work with students to create chants and songs that help the ideas stick. To this day, I still remember singing a song about the planets from my very first experience as a paraprofessional in a third grade class back in the 1990s. The song, "We're Studying the Planets," is really stuck in my head, and if you go to YouTube, I'm sure you'll be able to find it for yourselves. With great tips like these, you're sure to be on the road to a successful teaching career. Now, on to the website. My website has across the bar up at the top of the page, it'll take you to various pages. I've created a short slideshow on 8 different topics, and each slideshow has a brief overview that explains the video that's attached on the second slide. In researching differentiated instruction, I found many great videos available on YouTube that I thought might be of further interest to all of you. The first slide is an introduction to differentiated instruction. There are a total of 6 slides with a total listening time of 4 minutes and 40 seconds. After that introduction to differentiated instruction, I put together 7 different videos on the following topics. 3 simple ways to differentiate instruction, using differentiated instruction to support all learners, station rotation, differentiated instruction to reach all students, teaching gifted students, differentiating strategies, multiple intelligences, tips and strategies for effective differentiation in instruction, and finally, differentiated instruction, help to meet the diverse needs of your students. These videos include a brief introduction on the first slide and the actual video on the second slide. Please be sure to scroll down to the bottom of the slideshow to turn the page. The sound will automatically run on the first slide, but you'll need to click the video in order to watch it on the second. After the pages with the videos on them, you'll find another page called Additional Resources, where I have listed interesting books, articles, and additional presentations on the topic of differentiated instruction. There are 2 additional pages on this website as well, one that tells you all about me, and then the last page is a contact page. I hope that you enjoy my website and the information that I have compiled for you, and that you contact me if you have any questions about the presentation or resources you feel would be helpful to improve this website. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.